Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So, quite a few of you asked me to do an ASMR Let's Play video. Loads of people have asked me to do FIFA, but I don't play FIFA anymore, and I've been meaning to do a big ramble video about why that is. So with the Welsh weather outside, heavy rain, and really strong winds, I'm safe inside playing Football Manager. So I started a new game yesterday. I wanted to share that with you, and maybe if you enjoy this video, then I can do a series of ASMR Let's Play with Football Manager. How's that sound? Okay. So I hope this video records okay, because I have never done a video using a game before, so yeah, fingers crossed. The reason that I can't do Pro Evo, even though I would like to, is it's incredibly difficult to get the fan to be quiet, but I've got it on quiet fan mode, and if I'm not actually playing, simulating a game, and we're just on the screens, then I think it should be quiet enough. So I hope this is nice and quiet for you to get some relaxation and maybe even fall asleep. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to the game that I've started, and hopefully you find it really interesting. I do subscribe to some other channels that do FM, and one of the reasons is I like to see all the different tactics, but I just really like the storytelling of it as a game, and you can create these scenarios in which you can get a really interesting storyline. So I've chosen the team that one of the teams I've really enjoyed watching this season is AS Roma in Italy. So I chose to be them because I'm notorious for starting a new FM game, Football Manager game, and then just like quitting a couple of games in because I get bored. So I was going to ask you guys to suggest a team, but I thought if it's not someone I'm actually genuinely interested in, then I will just give in and give up. So I was thinking of maybe doing Swansea, or another team I watched a lot of this season is Nice, or maybe a Premier League team, or one of my favourite teams, Athletic Bilbao. But that one's tricky because you can't really buy players that much. It's more about the youth academy and stuff. So I decided to go for Roma, as I'm really enjoying watching Serie A this year. So let's just dive straight into it and get going. So I'm a couple of matches into the season, and in terms of the team, so I didn't go crazy and get loads of players in. I only had 7 million to spend. So this is the start of the 2022-2023 season. So yeah, I kept most of the same team as they currently have in real life, apart from a couple of loan transfers for youth players. The only player I actually sold, and I didn't want to sell him, was what's his face, the Englishman. Let me just get my transfer screen up. Transfer history. Let me just get it. Oh yeah, because in real life Nicolo Zaniolo went, but I don't know where that money went because I didn't get to spend it. Chris Smalling. Newcastle put an offer in for him just before the transfer window. I really like him, and in real life he's doing a brilliant job for Roma. They only offered me 6.25 million, but it could go up to 7.75. And he's 32. His contract was running out at the end of the season. I had to renew it. He's on like quite a high wage. And then when they give the offer, and Chris came to me and he said that he wants to live closer to his family in Britain, and he would take he'd be really unsettled if he wasn't allowed to leave, or the offer wasn't accepted. and I would take some convincing to try and get him to stay. So I thought, you know what, I don't actually need that stress, because in terms of the squad, I've got a bazillion really good defenders. So I had Roger Banez, Brazilian Uruguayan, who's worth like 29 to 32 million, and he's only 23. So he was better in terms of, you know, actual ability. Mancini, who is a dead cert to start for me, one of the icons of the club, 11 million to 14 million. He's only 26. And then you got Marash Kumbula, the Albanian, again 11 to 12 million, far less wages, 22 years old. And on loan I've got from Leeds, Diego Llorente, and I intend on buying a youngster to get into that backline as well. So yeah, I didn't desperately need him, to be honest, so I thought it was quite a good deal in the circumstances. Okay, so let's look at my tactics. Now this is kind of crucial because it really affected the start that I had. So I chose not to mess around with friendlies because I wasn't really intended on shopping for players. My starting lineup is more or less this. I've left it as it is, even though Spinazzola got injured in the last match. But I've got Tammy Abraham up front, El Shaarawy. The only player that I've actually bought is Orsolini. I got from, where was it? Bologna. I only actually, because I was looking at all these fast, tricky wingers to get crosses into the box, and I spoke to his scout, and he reckoned I could get him for just over 6 million, which is a total bargain. He is so fast, and good dribbler, good crosser of the ball, decent finisher. He can even head. He's taller than me in real life. He's over 6 foot, so yeah, I thought, you know, he's quite versatile as well, so I thought that was an absolute bargain. He's a player that I quite like in Italian football anyway, and I was a bit short on the wings. So originally I started off with this formation, and oh my god, it did not work. I was appalling. So I went straight into the league season, like I said, no friendlies, and the game did do friendlies before I took over though, so the players were match fit. So I tried to do a gegenpress 4-3-3 with some really dynamic midfielders, pressing from the front, the wide players coming in a little bit to support Tammy and the wing backs, trying to get up the pitch, solid in the middle of the park, really good on the attacking wings. I thought, yeah, that'll be great. We were horrific, like absolutely awful. I'll show you very quickly. So all these had nothing to do with me. So Serie A was the first game. So Monza only just got promoted into the Serie A, and we were at home, and we were losing. Like they were just dominating us. It was bizarre up until, as you can see there, right at the end of the match. So Brian Cristante did get a header from a Pellegrini free kick 9 minutes in, so I was like, whoop-de-doo, it's fine. And then 2 before half-time in 2 minutes, Battaglia and Sensi. So I gave him a bit of a walloping at half-time, and I wasn't actually too aggressive with them. I think there was an option that said something like, oh, you know, the game's gone the way it's gone, so just try and get a draw in the second half. We can't affect what's already happened. And then Tammy saved my skin. I put Solbakken on. I made about 5 substitutions right at the end, and he scored a brilliant header. Came on off the crossbar into the goal in the 91st minute, so it totally saved my blushes. And then Lazio away. So obviously Lazio are Roma's absolute enemy, rival derby della Capitale, the 2 Rome teams, and we were destroyed. It was not even close. Look at that. We barely had a shot. You know, this is supposed to get us loads of goals because you're counting on them making mistakes, but they just played around us. Their expected goals ratio 1.8 to ours 0.2. We were utterly pathetic, and I was really embarrassed. So normally I try out a number of different tactics at the beginning of a campaign, and it usually unsettles the players. So I was like, this time I'm definitely going for this. I've done my research. We're going to go and we're going to stick to it, blah blah blah. And I was like, after those two results, I thought, oh my god, I'm going to get sacked. So I thought, you know what I really want? I really love watching football that's got wide, fast, tricky wingers, fullbacks that cross over at the back, get to the byline, and a solid midfielder. I love having three in midfield where possible, and a sort of a striker that is capable of bringing the ball down, headering the ball, etc. So it's like I kind of got all of those players now. I got Orsolini on the wing. Incidentally, the day before the first match, Paulo Dybala got injured for like 6 weeks or something, so I was like, oh great, we're already short up front. But yeah, so then I went to this tactic. So I did again my research. I've got an inverted winger here, an inverted forward there, and then we've got him as the, what's that one, advanced forward. Is that inverted winger, and inside forward, excuse me. They're all on attacking, so they're not really expected to get back much. Pellegrini, who's a mezzala in the middle, is also on attacking, so we've got 4 dedicated attacking players. Brian Cristante, who's a box-to-box, is support, so he can get forward and back, and then Matic, who's a deep-line playmaker, can also get forward and back. I swap him around a little bit with Madi Camara, and Pellegrini can also play in that position, as can Cristante, and Wijnaldum is out for 3 months, but hopefully when he comes back he can get in there as well as the youngster Bove. Yeah, so I've got a couple of players who can switch around in that position. I've not got lots, to be honest. I think I might need to get someone in that area in the transfer window that's coming up at Christmas. As the wind outside blows, wow. And then I got my 2 solid centre backs, and Spinazzola, who is just amazing at left back, can take on and go past anyone, get to the byline, get crosses in, and Karsdorp, who's not, well, they've got the same position, wing back support, so they're not bombing forward all the time, but they can. And I've got Zeki, Celik, and Zelewski, who in real life I think he's fantastic, but he hasn't quite settled into my system yet. He doesn't quite fit into, he's more of a wing back, but I might be able to play him as a left winger instead of Al-Sharawi, we'll see. And then obviously I've got Belotti on the bench, Solbakken, and he's getting back into full fitness, but Paulo Dybala as well. So once I did that, there was an immediate result. So look at this run in: Lazio, Milan, Juve, Napoli, Atalanta. God, what a start to the season, eh? But I, at home, managed to beat Milan 3-2. They had a penalty, if I remember off the top of my head. So Tammy scored on the 30th minute, another assist from Pellegrini. Rafael from Tonali equalised 3 minutes later, a bit gutted because I think that was their first shot on goal at the time. Then Cristante scored this absolute stunner from outside the box, again Pellegrini with the assist. Then Tammy scored again. Then he scored a hat-trick, but it was ruled for offside. And then Giroud got a penalty, really stupid mistake from Ibanez. Chris Smalling had been in my team, but he was looking at a contract for Newcastle, so I thought I'll leave him out. And I put Ibanez in because he's probably going to be my first choice, and then he gives away a penalty. And in the second half it was just littered with yellow cards, but 19 shots on target, 10 on target, 1.7 expected goals. It was close, you know. They had 10, 4, and expected goals 1.5. But yeah, I thought that we were a lot better. I would have taken a draw, to be honest, at that point in time, having lost so heavily to Lazio. And then this happened. So the next game, Juventus away. So we're in the Allianz Stadium in Juve's home ground, and we again have 19 shots on goal, 10 on target, expected goals 2.06, 16 corners. So this wide play that I've got going on, Orsolini was man of the match. He was literally insane. He had a goal there, Spinazzola basically run past everyone up the wing here, squared it, and he was stood at the back post. Tammy had another goal offside there, but then he scored a minute later. And then Orsolini scored again, this time Roger Ibanez getting the assist. So that kind of proved me right at this point. Smalling had been sold. So yeah, I was absolutely over the moon. And what was even nicer is that Dybala was back, so he came on for the last couple of minutes against his old team. And Juve, you know, they had the big guns out, but I'm not sure what this formation is. They bought Amrabat from Fiorentina. But, yeah, Locatelli in the middle there, Cuadrado and Kostic quite far back. And then Di Maria up front with Milik. They did bring Vlahovic on, I believe. Yeah, he did quite well. Yeah, I suppose it is what they're doing in real life, but they were just awful. They never looked like scoring. Yeah, and that's where I'm at so far. So next game is the Europa League. I'm home to Rennes. My group has Rennes, Austria Vienna and Malmö. So I'm kind of hoping that I'll go through in at least second. On the last two games, current form, I should really be able to get through in first and avoid the playoff against the Champions League team. So that'll be really cool. Got Rennes first at home, then away to Austria, then at home to Malmö, finishing away to Rennes. So that's a difficult one. I see them as being my major opposition. And anything else? The Coppa d'Italia, I've either got Parma or Salernitana, so that's a pretty good draw, to be honest, in the third round. Just in case you're interested, my expectations, I need to qualify for the Champions League, so that needs 4th place at least, which is where I'm at the second. Napoli top, just like in real life, although the opening game they lost 3-0 to Atalanta. Although, did they do that in real life? No, they haven't. Sassuolo are second, bizarrely. Inter third, Roma, then Fiorentina, Milan. Lazio down in 8th. They beat me, but they've had 3 draws otherwise. And yeah, the weirdest one, I guess, is Juve at bottom because they had their 15 points deduction, which has happened in real life, but at the beginning of the season, so they were on -15. So apart from me, they had 3 wins before they faced me, albeit against Cremonese, Bologna and Samp. Cremonese and Samp in real life are both in the relegation zone, so yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with Juve in the game, particularly because in real life they are I'm very hopeful that they're going to have that overturned. Europa League, I'm expected to reach the quarterfinal as a minimum, and I'm expected to reach the semi-final as a minimum in the Coppa Italia. And so far, Tammy is my top goal scorer with 4 goals in 4 games. In fact, very quickly, my assists. 3 assists for Lorenzo Pellegrini, 1 for Solbakken, Spinazzola and Ibanez. And then goals, let's have a quick look. 4 for Tammy, 2 for Orsolini and 2 for Brian Cristante, who I don't think he scores many goals in real life, but there we are. And my average rating, Tammy's top, Orsolini second, Cristante third, Pellegrini 4th, and Ibanez, who's only played 2 games, 5th. I'm expecting the mercurial Dybala to get higher up there though, when he's back to full fitness. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed this. Do drop a comment and let me know how you think I'll do. And if this goes well, maybe I'll consider doing a different team in the future. Let me know who you like me to take on if you were able to choose. So next up, Rennes, then Napoli, ouch, away, I'm scared, Austria Vienna, Empoli, Atalanta, etc. Okay, if this is your first time watching the channel, then subscribe to see the rest of these videos in this series, and drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys really, really soon with more videos in this ASMR football, or if you're American, soccer channel. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye 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 bye.